All right, welcome to another episode of the Fitish podcast. I'm here with my co-host, baby daddy,
Hey,
lover, fiance, still
all
not
of it.
married. Yeah, Francisco. Hi, welcome. You seem scatterbrained this morning. Before
I
we
am
started this today,
scatterbrained.
he was just telling me that he had something very important to tell me, but he can't remember what it is, which is really great, right? When your partner tells you that and you think, well, I don't know, did the nanny tell you something? Is there something that has to do with our son?
No, all is good. I think it'll come to me. But yeah, babe, like, how am I not gonna be scattered brain that we finally get to parent 100%?
I know y'all are going to listen to this and go, okay, geez, y'all, first world problems. But his mom left last week. It was emotional since we last spoke with you. Our abuela has left us, also really our full-time Remi caregiver.
Yeah,
In addition to
she found the key for the shackle.
She released herself. I have not heard from her. I think she's gone.
She changed her phone number. I think she changed her identity.
So Francisco's mom Lula was gracious enough to stay with us for 2 months. And, you know, the downside of her staying with us for 2 months is that we haven't had to stay up all night with Remi since then. So, you know, shame on us.
For what I cared, I thought he was sleeping throughout the night.
Yeah, we've heard that he was mostly sleeping through the night. And this last Friday and Saturday night, Fran and I realized lies. They've all been lying to us from the night nurse.
He's not a good baby.
So
He's a faulty baby. No,
he's
I'm just
faulty.
kidding.
No, he's such a good baby, but he has gas like his daddy.
And mommy.
I don't have gas like that, Fran.
Babe, you're the one that
You have the gout and the stomach problems. Don't pin that shit on me. Literally, you have the stomach
gout.
issues. I know you're having a gout flare up. I heard you up in the middle of the night last night, like rubbing your foot.
No, it was rough last night.
It's not funny because your gout seems awful, but gout was only something I thought like people in the 1800s that were really overweight got. You know, like you see people that had a lot of money that were really plump.
No,
They had gout.
I'm one of the poor versions of the gout.
Do you know what I'm talking about? Y'all know if you've ever seen that movie, The Favorite. That movie's so funny, but she has like horrible gout.
Yeah, everybody tells me like, oh my god, that's the rich disease. The rich disease. The rich.
Yeah,
well,
like
there's some
a
poor
lot of
people like me
food.
that gets it all.
You're one of the poor gout survivors.
I only got the gout without the wealth. So
Sounds terrible.
I'll catch up.
That aside, though, getting back to Mr. Remilicious. So, yeah, Fran and I, like, this was just one of those trying times. And so he got his first shots, and he was a champ. He did well. I mean, he slept. He didn't feel very good, but he was all right. He got his shots last week, and then your mom left that day. And so, and we have a night nurse a few nights a week. That's very helpful. So Friday and Saturday were our first nights that we basically, and the whole weekend, right, that we had him all alone. My mom came over to say hi and help out, but it was really Fran and I should say, also really mom, because you had a bunch of open houses this weekend because the real estate world happens on the weekend. So I decided to take Friday night. I just was like, you know what? I am going to struggle with this. He likes to hang out with me. He does not like to sleep when I'm around at night. He sleeps in my arms. Great.
You did good. Like it was like.
So I took Friday because you had to work.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, you had to work all day Saturday. So like I truthfully, I just wanted to get Friday out of the way too, so I could look forward to Saturday night and be like, I'm going to sleep. Well, when I'm not pumping. And I did okay, but he made it one long stretch. But why does no one tell you that newborns are possessed? I mean, he's not even a newborn anymore. He's an infant now.
Are you talking about Sir Grunt-a-Lot?
Sir Grunt-a-Lot. Newborns are possessed when they sleep. I mean, he lays there and he flings his leg in the air and he's like, ugh. And I'll go get up and look, sound asleep. What? Yeah. So I'm sleeping down there in the nursery with him. And I mean, I wasn't sleeping. I was laying there sweating and scared like he was going to wake up because he sounded awake the entire night.
Start levitating and stab you in the back. Like, what were you sweating and
like
afraid?
a little baby exorcist in there. What is he doing?
He's a maniac. Like he moves around so much. Like
he worms.
His little body.
He worms himself
His
all
little
the
body,
edge.
it's 23 inches, and we know that because we just went to the doctor, and those 23 inches touched every corner of that crib.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Like he moves so much, and the thing is that he doesn't wake up. He just goes like a little clock, like he goes moving around, but he doesn't wake up.
He's a little caterpillar in there. And so I handled Friday. I was obviously so tired. I slept from 3 a.m. until maybe 5:30 that night. That's it.
Wow.
That's the only sleep I got.
Well, you got sleep.
He slept more. It's not that he was bad. He went like a 7-hour stretch without eating, but he was grunting the whole time, so I couldn't sleep. And so Fran had Saturday night. So I'm like, at like 5:30, 7 p.m., 6 p.m. I'm like, night. I went up to bed. I mean, I still have to get up twice in the middle of the night to pump, but we have cameras everywhere now. And so every time I check the camera, Remi was not in the crib. So finally, when I got up to pump at like 7 a.m., at one point I texted you, are you okay? And you're just like, yeah, he's just not sleeping. So 7 a.m., I made the grave mistake of bringing Fran coffee and going to check on him. I should have hid out upstairs longer like you did on Saturday morning. Because I went down there.
You texted me like at 7:01. I was like, hey, I need help.
Fran hands me that baby and he's like, I'm going to bed. He went upstairs. He says, yeah. So he got like 0 sleep the whole night. And I felt great. I actually did. I felt refreshed. Remi slept for me in his swing. I worked all Sunday morning. It was very pleasant.
No. So it was actually great. Like, I do enjoy it. No, there was a couple of things that were really enjoyable. Like, at some
like you letting him sleep on your arm all night long. Yeah, that's what he ended up doing. He just let the baby sleep on him. What?
Go take a breath in the corner. No, so what was amazing was I'm still waking up. What was amazing is that, like, that interaction for sure. Like, I had a stretch. I didn't have that long stretch as you did. So he woke up. And he was like unconsolable. Like if he just lost a parent. Like he was not stop crying. Like so I grab him, I start like shaking him. And
you didn't shake him, don't say that.
Well, just shake.
Rocking. Swaying.
Like,
shake is like the one. Shake is the one word you shouldn't say.
Okay, I wasn't shaking.
Now I'm actually as concerned as you are listening to this because I didn't see the shakies.
So I didn't shake him. But all of a sudden he started falling asleep in my arms like he always does.
Yeah.
Put him back in the crib like I always do.
Done. See, this is the danger. They start learning.
Well, he's going to learn that one day a week. Okay? One day a week
You're going to let him sleep on you one day a week, you rat. That's what's so hard about this process.
The third time I tried this, like, I think we both agreed that we were tired and we didn't want to fight it anymore.
The pick up, put down method meant to be pick him up, put him down, pick him up, resettle, put him down back in the crib, not put him down in bed with you. No, someone else wrote that. That's why I told you about it.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure they don't have a kid. They just saw that.
Let's just be real about it.
They just saw that in a TikTok.
Remi weighs almost 13 pounds now. We're very comfortable with him. I know it is so sweet when they want to sleep on you, but I went down there in the morning and Remi is not in the crib. I see Fran laying in the bed and Remi's just in his arm like I would be. Like, great. Okay. So they've been sleeping like this all night. It was
amazing. Like, so he laid, like, I don't know how he found this comfortable, but because we tried everything. And the second, like, I just laid in the bed and he organically fell in the arm. And he passed out. And I was
of course
like,
he did.
Are you comfy? Cool. I am comfy.
That's what he said to you?
Yeah. No, we both like did not.
We just have to be real with y'all because I think some parents make it like, oh, yes, the baby's in the nursery perfectly fine every single night. And that's just not the case. You get to a point that you're so tired. And I know that it is very frowned upon by like the American Pediatric Association to co-sleep. But when you look into studies, they say over 50% of couples co-sleep with the child. And we're not in the habit of that. I mean, I fell asleep like napping as we were trying to watch the Batman yesterday and he was sleeping on me. And of course I'm like upright like this with my head like this. And Fran was on the couch too, but but in general, we haven't, but I'll be honest with you, those first couple of weeks when you get home from the hospital, it is like nearly impossible to get this baby swaddled and put down. At least for us, it was. And so Fran and I are up sleeping with letting him sleep on our chest in the recliner or whatever it is. And they tell you, oh, there's so much judgment. Don't let them sleep on you. And there's a reason for that. I mean, they think the reason, is SIDS. But I don't know how I lived. I mean, my mom said I slept like on my face in between her and my dad. And I'm here somehow. My mom looked at me the other day, by the way, when she was helping me this weekend, and goes, she looked up at me and goes, Jenna, I don't know how you're alive. And I was like, I don't know either, but that's great, Mom. Thanks. I'm really glad you're taking care of our son.
Yeah.
Hey, well, speaking of taking care of our son, taking care of your body is something you've been doing a great job of, Fran. And to this morning, he goes, hey, Jenna, I'm out of my Athletic Greens. I was like, yeah, I know. And you've still been using the Athletic Greens water bottle as well that they sent us, which is so great. So these things are awesome. And I know we're going to talk later in the show about your trip. They make it
so easy. Like they do make it so easy. They come in separate packets if you're going to travel.
Yeah.
They come, like they give you this bottle where you shake it, so you don't have to be finding like somewhere to put a lid on.
Stir something. Well, what is it? Okay, first of all, if you're going, well, what is Athletic Greens? One delicious scoop of this Athletic Greens powder. You are getting 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help start your day right. I swear, even on days Fran's so tired, he's up and I see the bottle in the sink because I have to clean it. You're drinking these Athletic Greens.
Well, the rule is you cook, I clean, I clean, I cook, you clean. So I cook the Athletic
Is that what
Greens.
it is? Yeah. Tell me what you've been actually doing this for how long now?
I've been doing it for 2 months.
Every day.
They gave me a 2-month supply, one in a jar, one in separate packets. And I feel it's more like balance.
Yeah.
Like the whole green thing. You feel very balanced. You feel awake. Your gut feels cleansed.
You got a cleansed gut?
I had a clean gut.
Well, right now it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system. And to make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/Fitish. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/Fitish, Fitish, to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. Yeah, really great.
Yeah, I love it.
You know, what's really exciting though is we are going to welcome a guest on the podcast. You and I have been not getting along lately, so it's not couples therapy. Don't worry about that. It's something even more interesting and a little bit easier to digest, I think, than couples therapy. Yes, we are going to have someone on the show teach us about breath work. Welcome back to the Fitish podcast. You know, we're growing the show, Francisco.
Oh, I thought physically. I was like, I haven't lost my pregnancy weight yet.
Yeah, no, I haven't either. I'm just wearing looser clothes. It's disguising it. No, we're really excited actually because now for the second time, we have an in-person guest. Clearly, we still don't have a budget to have like a separate camera and separate chair. But joining us.
We like it cozy up.
No, I'm excited actually because this guest has listened to the podcast. And when we've asked about having more guests that deal with a lot of, kind of maybe relaxation techniques and mental health and wellness, which is very important to us here at Fitish.
Yeah.
Erika reached out and wrote us a message. See, I do read your messages when you send them to info@fitish.com, but she reached out and she specializes in breath work. And of course I'm like, yes, let's book her. And then I'm like, what is breath work? So I booked her before I even really had an understanding of what breath work is, but it sounded like something we need in our lives.
Well, just the first thing that I came to mind is breath.
Yeah,
that's
breath.
How
something
much
about breathing and something about relaxing, which Francisco and I both need. So welcome Erika to the show. Hi, Erika.
Hi, thank you guys. Is this on?
Yeah, is it on?
Yeah.
Can you hear her? Yeah,
Okay.
It's on. It's on.
Thank you.
So tell us, what is breath work?
So breath work itself is a holistic healing modality where you're only using your breath to help heal different things that you might have issues with, whether that be mental or emotional problems. So you can holistically heal yourself from things like anxiety, PTSD, depression, or just to help you process unprocessed emotions that you have stuck in your body.
Yeah, really amazing. It's so funny because I remember being on one of our kids trips, right, with the radio show, and and this was kind of my only experience witnessing something like this. But there was this family I was hanging out with one day, and this mom had 5 little girls. They were like all under the age of 7. I mean, she had she must have had a baby like year after year. And one of them was a kid's kid, but we bring the whole family on this trip, and we were about to meet the princesses. And one of the little girls was just really overstimulated, but she was hyped. She was hyped to meet the princesses, but she just could not control her emotions. She was talking a lot. They were pulling on my hair. The mom was like, go do your breaths in the corner. And this little girl walked over to the corner. She had to have been 5. And I watched her count and take like 5 really deep breaths, I guess, to calm herself. So I would like to think that was breath work that they've taught this 5-year-old how to do.
Whatever that is, I want it. Like,
it was amazing.
We need to learn that.
Calm down her. She's at Disney. She's about to meet Princess. She was freaking out. And her mom, like, I guess, had trained these kids how to breathe on their own. So I'm assuming that was like my only witness to some sort of breath work.
How effective is in the middle of an argument? Like if I go tell, hey, Jenna, go to the wall. Do your breath work.
I'm sure it would help. It can really help. You calm down your system. So there are different breath patterns. So there's 5 different ones that I use. And so,
well, before you get into that, I want to know why you got into breath work, actually, before you tell us all about what they are, because we're going to put this into practice and we're going to do something that the audience can maybe, as they're listening to us, work with, right? But why don't you tell us a little bit about your journey into breath work?
Okay, yeah. So I actually got into it last year. So, well, I'll go back to when I first heard about it. I went to a business conference in 2019, and one of the speakers, her name is Samantha Skelly, she spoke about breath work and how it helped her heal her anxiety holistically, and how she used to have like panic attacks where she would be on the ground just like naked having a panic attack. And so she was able to fully heal herself from that. So I remember her talking about it, and that was my first time trying it. But at the time, I really wasn't pulled towards it. I thought it was cool. And she talked about embodiment and how that was different from mindset work. So like mindset work, you just kind of work on your thoughts and changing them. But that is completely different from going into your body and integrating a new belief system. So that's why sometimes, even though someone might change their mindset around something, they can't really make lasting changes with it, because within their body, they're still probably believing.
They react a certain way still.
Right.
Like physically.
So fast forward to last year, April 2019, like March, between February and April, I was in a really bad place.
It's 2021, but it's okay if you haven't been with us for a while.
Yeah.
No, you said 2019.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was like, wow, this breathworks worked really well for her.
Time flies.
She's zoned out. Yeah, no, I'm kidding. But just last April, right? Is when you started this. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. So I was working a job where I was doing copywriting. So the form that like you write for ads and like doing marketing.
Yeah.
So I was running a lot of marketing things for this business, and it was taking over my entire life to the point where I felt like I was losing myself, and it was just really, really bad. I was having mental breakdowns like weekly, and I just got to that place where I was like, I feel like I'm losing myself and I don't even know what I want anymore, because my dream has always been to be a speaker. And so I do speaking and become like a life coach and that sort of thing. But when the pandemic hit, I couldn't really do speaking. So I was actually working with a mentor who was like, what are your other strengths? I said writing. He said, okay, let's try copywriting. So you have something to bring you income while you wait. So I was like, okay. And I did the copywriting thing for only a few months. And that's when I got to that point where I was like, I don't even know like what I want anymore. Like what's truly like my thing, and not just me focusing on this one business. So it was around this time, April last year, where I found this program by this woman who I had also met back in 2019, who had taken this breathwork course, and she was promoting this program called The Embodied Woman. And so I reached out to her and I told her what I was going through and asked if it was something that would benefit me. And she said, yes, based off of what you've told me, yes. And so it was a 4-month program that used breath work as the main tool to help us women who are part of this program to just completely unravel and heal all these different parts of ourselves that were causing us to feel, let's say, not ourselves or less confident or anything like that. So by the end of that program, I felt like a completely different person. I was able to heal my body image issues like completely. I had no idea that I was living in the feelings of resentment until after a breathwork session, I literally felt a weight get lifted off my heart. Like it's such a weird feeling. I can't really explain it, but it was just like this weight was lifted off.
And it never came back.
And no. And ever since that point, I've been able to feel so much more joyful in just like my day-to-day life. And so I was like, wow, this is actually so powerful. And my own, like, I got to get back in tune with myself going through that as well. And I've always wanted to just be able to have impact on people's lives and change people's lives at the end of the day.
And what a great skill to now be able to offer people, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So I was like, if I know that this tool is this powerful and it's impacted my life, why wouldn't I learn it in order to be able to bring it to more people and use it as part of my own business? And so I joined the program from that same woman back in 2019, Samantha Scully. I joined her program called Pause Breathwork in November. And even then, like, we also did a whole lot of breath work. The first 3 months is working on ourselves. Last 3 months is facilitation. So even through that experience, I feel like I've also undergone so much more of an inner transformation.
But now you've been trained to then give this gift to other people.
Right.
And so you said, so this isn't just for women. This is not, this is just for, and some people, do you think, don't even know that they need it?
Probably not.
I'm pretty sure 90% of the people think that they don't need it
Yeah.
until you try it. No, I do need it.
It's amazing. I mean, I've dealt with anxiety in my life, and I just used to take Xanax for it, and then I got pregnant and couldn't. You know, I've had a couple panic attacks in my life, and it's that first panic attack that you have, and mine happened like on an airplane because I hate to fly. That first panic attack really sucks because you think you're having a heart attack. But then I started learning, or you don't know what's happening to your body, right? If you're really going through a panic attack, it feels like you're dying and you don't know. And so now that's my knowledge is gone when I've had other girlfriends go, I think I'm dying. Like, I can't breathe. I'm like, no, you're having a panic attack. And the only thing you tell them to do is take really deep breaths. But that can be really hard when something's escalated to that point. You know, I mean, if him and I ever fight really badly, it's like very hard for me to catch my breath. You know, I get very, very upset very quickly. Like if it escalates and I'm like, I have to go walk away and sit in a closet and try and breathe because I don't know what else to do, because you can get so worked up sometimes about things. But well, I don't know. I mean, I would love to. Is there anything we can do? I'm not really worked up right now. We should have done this at the end of the podcast.
Well, I have a couple news, like especially my return date. If you want to get worked out.
Oh.
I'm just kidding, babe.
No, I was seriously like, you're fucking joking right now. This is live. I'm mad. Yeah, I'm like live mad right now. Yeah.
But you see now she's a little worked out.
I have a newborn. I'm just going to say I have a newborn at this point. Yeah. Because
Stop.
you're out of town for who knows how long. See, he can get me worked up. She's like, oh my gosh, you're too much. I can't help you. Yeah. Okay. Let's start. Let's do, what do you recommend? I mean, at a small scope, because I don't have 4 months. You know, I don't have 4 months to do a breathwork course.
Oh, of course. Yeah. No, so there are like two different ones. So if you want to do something at like any point of your day, that would be considered an integrative session. So that's anything from 0 to 8 minutes.
Okay.
And if you don't have, let's say, a facilitator, what I've been recommending the clients I've been working with is you can just play, let's say, a meditation song that's maybe about 4 minutes, and just practice a breath pattern during that time with the intention of, I want to calm myself down if you're feeling really like aroused, let's say. So
aroused, but not like how Fran gets aroused.
Right.
Yeah. Like aroused in a bad way.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah.
I was like, I don't know about this word choice.
Need to breathe. No, it's perfect. It's funny. I like the idea of this though, honestly, Erika, because I've tried meditation so much and I do feel amazing when I've gotten through a meditation class, but it takes me until the end to feel relaxed when I finally feel like I can feel the water around me or all the things. And I have to do lead meditation. You know what I mean? Because to sit alone and have your mind very clear is very difficult. Right. So I think if you are focusing on something, it at least gets my attention somewhere, definitely. Right? Because that not guided meditation is nearly impossible for me to do. My mind just starts wandering. I know you're supposed to practice at it, but I can't, to sit still and do that. So if I have breath work to focus on, I think a lot of people, I could get through that.
And
okay.
That is one of the benefits of it, especially for people, like you said, who struggle with meditating. It can help you get into that meditative state without you having to think about clearing your mind, because it just automatically takes you out of your mind and drops you into your body.
That's so cool.
Okay, so what are we going to, you said there's 2 different types. So that's the one, right? The 0 to 8 minutes is integrative.
Yes.
And you can do it at any time in the day.
Yeah. And then the next one is called meditative. So that is anything over 8 minutes. So that
I'm out. Yeah, I'm out.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm out on that. Yeah, right.
those are
All
the,
depends, babe, how worked out you are.
those are not so much for, let's say, trying to change your mood. So the integrative ones, that's to change your mood. If you're wanting to feel more energized or you want to calm down, that's what you use that for. The
Well,
meditative,
let's just focus on
What's
that
the
one
meditative
right now.
one? No, I'm curious.
the meditative ones are the ones for transformation.
Yeah,
So
I don't have time for that.
that's
Yeah, I don't
what-
have time to to transform my life.
You're perfectly fine the way you are, but we need to work on the first one.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that's a good goal.
Okay,
Just to,
let's try that was a nice way to say I need some work. Let's try the
No, you're
integrative
perfect the
one
way you
and give
are.
us some tips, and then you can follow along. I don't know how interesting and dynamic listening to us breathe is going to be, but we encourage you to do this with us right now, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Take us.
Stop your car.
Yeah. Well, there's no holding your breath. I don't think they're going to pass out.
Well, I don't want them to be
Look
distracted.
at her. She's breathing just listening to us talk. We're stressing her out. Yeah. Okay.
There could be breath holds if you want to try them.
Mhm.
I would put that at the very end though. So I would take you into a bottom hold, and that is when you breathe all the air out of your body and you hold your breath,
Okay.
and you just hold it as long as you would like to, or until I cue you to stop.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what helps ground down your energy. So if you're feeling like up here, it'll help you come back down here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's
so
try that.
yeah, we can.
And
put
when you
that
say
at
if
the
you're
end.
feeling up here, she's using her hands, but that's like if you feel kind of really
Right.
strung out,
anxious or stressed,
yeah.
Like if you're really upset.
Or just a lot
Yeah.
going on, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Let me just record these also.
You know we're doing a podcast right now, so
No, but I wanted to have in my quick notes, just like in case it's like we're on the phone. It's like drop to the bottom.
go do your breath.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's start.
All right. So I will lead you,
Okay.
and is our intention. So before I do every session, there's an intention that is chosen. So
Okay.
is y'all's intention to feel calm, or is that what you're wanting?
I think that I have a lot in my head. Yeah. Sometimes I just have a lot of thoughts, right? Like it's the beginning of a work week. I have a lot going on.
Mhm.
A lot to do, a lot to get to. So sometimes I just, I just need to calm down. How about you, Fran?
I think I need to
Stay in town or?
energize.
Yeah. Oh,
Feel
okay.
more energized.
All right.
Well, that's very.
You need to feel more
different.
energized.
Oh,
Well, you're
There's-
supposed to be on the same.
Yeah, it
he
needs to
needs
be-
what I
it
need.
needs
Let's
to be
just
the
put it that
same
way.
page.
I'll calm down. And
Well, I would like to think that the average Fitish listener right now doesn't say, I need to be energized. They're going to say, I need to calm down, because that's usually what's going on with
Well,
people, right?
depends.
I need to chill.
But yes,
Yeah. De-stress.
distress. That works.
Okay.
I need energy. Okay, man. You just had like how many?
Babe, I didn't sleep the whole weekend.
What's that Starbucks thing you get? Oh,
The
a
Trenta?
cold brew. It's not even on the menu. That's
God.
disturbing. And you're still tired?
So large.
Well, I'm gonna need the stress one after, but
Okay.
let's do it.
Okay, let's do it.
So just so we're clear, the intention is to clear our mind.
Yes.
Okay. Because I say a mantra around that.
Okay.
So we got it.
Okay.
Great. Clear our mind.
Clear our mind.
I choose to clear my mind.
I choose to clear my
I
mind.
choose to clear my mind.
I choose Erika to help me clear my mind.
Okay. If you're ready, I invite you by taking 3 cleansing breaths, just in through the nose and out through the mouth.
Glad I had gum.
And then based on your comfort level, if you'd like to close your eyes, drop your shoulders. Maybe begin a body scan, starting at the top of your head, going down into your throat, your shoulders, your chest, arms, stomach, hips, legs, and feet. And simply noticing what might be present in the body without the need to change or fix anything. Now I invite you into the halo active breath, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Continuing at a depth and place that feels good to you. As you breathe, coming to your intention, I choose to clear my mind. I choose to clear my mind. Inviting you to see if you can release any tension as you breathe through movement or sighing, whatever feels good to you. Allowing yourself to land just a little bit more deeply. Continuing with that breath, reminding yourself of your intention. I choose to clear my mind and find a place of inner peace. Lastly, opening your eyes when you're ready to come back to the room.
I'm glad you let me breathe again there at the end. I was holding my breath. I couldn't hold it very long.
Yeah.
Well, that was nice.
That was
so really it's just
amazing.
breathing, closing my eyes and breathing.
Yeah.
I can use this throughout the day. I need to do this. I could almost should
Go to
do
that place
like
to
every
the
hour
inner peace.
when I'm pumping and I'm mad about sitting there pumping.
Yeah.
You could do that.
Yeah. I liked that.
You have a very calming voice.
Yeah.
Thank you. I received that feedback a lot. So.
It's nice. So now you are, I hope y'all enjoyed that. Now you're,
You need to say, like, we need to record that I choose to clear my mind.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever we're arguing, I can just be, I choose to clear my mind.
I'm sure that'll set me off in a good direction.
I choose to clear my mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, coming from the guy that the other day I said I was going to go get some therapy so I could learn how to deal with him. And he goes, good for you. Good. I was like, no, I meant it more like you need it too.
Well, the thing
good
is
for
that
you is what
it's
he
like the
said to me.
alcoholic. Like you have to, the first step is to self-awareness. And I'm very proud of you. You got to self-awareness. And I will come there at some point.
I'm going to kill him. He's comparing me to an alcoholic with my emotional needs.
No, I'm just the self-awareness
Erika's
is
like,
amazing.
y'all are too far gone for me to help. No, I really liked that because I recognize so much and I don't do it long enough. Obviously, I get very impatient. I think the discipline of that's what's really challenging for me, right? Like with the meditation, just actually sitting there. And I like going through the steps of, and they do that in meditation, that body check, right? Because it gives you something to think about, checking in with the different parts of your body.
No, to take you out of your normal thoughts.
No, I really enjoyed that. So now you're, like you said, you are, you're actually practicing and able to do this for people, right? So do you do virtual sessions or how does that work?
Yes. So I can do both virtual or in person. Most of the ones I've been doing have been virtual. But I have done in person with my family. So like with my sister, my aunts, my sisters and my aunts pretty much, or who I've done in person.
Yeah, but your friends and family love that you get to practice on them.
Yeah.
Right? So what is your ultimate goal with all of this?
My ultimate goal is to grow my platform. So my online platform to be able to have more impact on the world. I just have this inner feeling that I want to do something more with my life, make an impact, help change people's lives in whatever way that might look for them, just to help people realize that you don't have to suffer or you don't have to feel bad about yourself, have self-worth issues, or let's say live in resentment or live with things like depression or PTSD or anxiety. There are ways to overcome that. And so my goal is to just be able to help as many people as I can through my work of speaking and breath work, and just help as many people as I can and change people's lives.
I bet your lungs are in really good shape.
Probably.
Yeah.
I think that's a really noble
That's amazing.
thing.
Well, and talk about fulfillment, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think so many of us, and we've talked about that before, so many of us spend a lot of time in jobs that aren't as fulfilling, especially when you're kind of doing that traditional 9 to 5, having to report to people every day. That can be really tough. You know, for me, it was more liberating to start my own business. And I know you've always worked for yourself, Fran.
Yeah.
So sometimes frustrating and stressful. It doesn't take away from that, but it's different challenges. But, you know, there's something to be said about having something that like really motivates you and fulfills you, right?
Definitely.
And that's amazing that I'm not religious in any way. I'm spiritual, but I do believe that that's what you take out of this world, what you've done for others.
Yeah.
And doing that for others, being able to help them and guide them to lose all those issues that they've been carrying around for years. I think that's so noble and amazing.
Yeah.
For sure.
So if people want to find you and do more breath work with you, where can they go?
So you can go to my Instagram. It's at Erika Valle. Erika Valle 2. So ErikaValle 2.
Damn, Erika Valle 1.
I don't know why I chose to, honestly.
Erika Valle 1. Or Erika Valle, just
Yeah. Gosh.
Yeah.
If you own that Instagram, give it to her. She deserves it.
Well, awesome. Thank you for listening to the podcast. Thank you for coming and sharing your new skill with us. That was really great. I think I'm going to put that into use every day. That's really practical. We can do that. So I hope y'all feel a little more chill before Fran and I get into talking about other things that are going to make me not as chill. I'm going to have to do it again at the end of the show.
I'm going to have in my speed dial for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Well, thanks a lot. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back in a minute.
Thank you.
You know, it's so important to take care of yourself. I know today we're all about health and wellness. The sponsors of today's Fitish podcast are all about it as well. And with you going out of town, which we're going to get into after this in just a second, I was thinking about it this morning. I have to take care of myself, and I take care of myself with Daily Harvest. I love Daily Harvest. I know you do too, and you've been complaining. You've been complaining that we're out of the flatbread. So Daily Harvest, this is so great. I mean, I like ordering. Hey, you can order everything online. I like ordering my dog's food online. It's frozen. I put it in the freezer. And Daily Harvest, so many nutritional, amazing pre-made options that all you have to do is like pop in the microwave or leave them in the fridge overnight. This morning, I had some strawberry chia oat bowl that all I had to do was add coconut milk to it. Popped it in the microwave for a couple of minutes. Fran's like, "What'd you eat this morning for breakfast?" I'm like the best oatmeal I've ever had. That's what I called it.
I went after you left. I went and had the one other one that they sent. But I love those shakes. The smoothies.
Daily Harvest started with mostly smoothies, but I absolutely love it because they have a great app. You can sign up for getting, however many items you want to get delivered, how frequently you want it. Now like I said, they've rolled out full meals like
sweet and savory.
Yeah, sweet and savory stuff, flatbread. So it's not just smoothies, but they make it so easy. Everything's very sustainable, recyclable. Pour it into a blender, throw in whether you want to use coconut water or some sort of nut milk. It was what they recommend. But anyway, we absolutely love it. And Fran and I are making a lot of effort these days to avoid the temptation to just order takeout all the time. Sign up for Daily Harvest. Avoid having to spend all that money on takeout. Go to dailyharvest.com/Fitish to get up to $40 off your first box. That's dailyharvest.com/Fitish for up to $40 off your first box. Dailyharvest.com/Fitish. And you get to pick what you put in there. So I recommend the flatbread and some of the breakfast items for sure. But yeah, back to how I have to take care of myself and our baby son because Fran is leaving me. Yes. Why'd you just grab my hand like that?
Because I like to grab your hand sometimes. Okay.
I feel like you do that when you're about to tell me really bad news.
No. I don't have bad news.
And then you get that weird smirk on your face where I can't see your teeth and you're like, no. Your eyebrows look great. So thank you for letting me groom you last night.
Welcome.
Finally. It makes me so happy.
Yeah, I know.
You were crazy and you let me do
like
that.
A little monkey.
But I'm not getting distracted from the real issue here. Fran has some...
But look how amazing it looks online.
Fran is going to Mexico and he's acting like it's very sad that he has to do this. He's about to hop on a plane when we finish recording this podcast today to go to Mayacoba and the Riviera Maya to work on a new residential potential listing that he's going to have, which is amazing. Then he has a meeting in Tulum. Then he has to fly to San Miguel for another listing that he's taking on, which is amazing. I know you've been working hard, and I really hope that this works out to something for the family, because you're leaving and you promised me that you'll be back at the end of the week. Has that changed?
No.
What's going on? They're holding back something. You're going to tell me it hasn't changed. And then on Thursday night, when you're supposed to land back in Dallas, you're going to call me and go,
No, I'm going to call Erika, our guest.
mm-hmm.
I'm going to blow her in a 3-way call. And it's like, okay, Erika.
What's the real deal? Shut up. Just get to the point. What's the real deal? Break
the real deal,
news.
I'll be home by Friday.
What?
I'll be home
No.
by Friday.
Why?
Why what?
You told me you were coming home Thursday night.
Well, that's most likely going to happen that way. Either it's going to be Thursday night or it's going to be Friday really early morning. Don't worry. My Friday late trip got cramped. So
I'm sorry. What was your Friday trip that didn't exist?
I was about to.
This is what happens when we work things out when we're actually recording, because I swear to y'all, I have no idea what he's talking about right now, and I'm starting to get really fucking pissed. No, what? What?
No,
It's not
everything,
okay.
babe. It's perfectly fine.
It's not perfectly fine.
Perfectly fine.
It's not okay
What's not?
to go out of town, right? Is one thing, because
Yeah.
you have a work trip that we've talked about. But it's
Uh-huh.
not okay to, when you're going out of town, tell me that now it's going to be another day. I mean, that's an entire week that you're leaving me to mom on my own. That's bad. I hope he doesn't remember you when you come back.
He's going to remember me.
No, he's not.
Anyhow, so don't worry about it. I'm going to be here by early Friday. Very early Friday.
So what's transpiring now between coming back on Thursday night that now you're going to fly back Friday morning? What? I don't understand.
All depends on flights, because I think I'm going to leave out of Leon. So
It all depends on flights that you still haven't booked.
I have one booked. The one today.
Oh, so it's a one-way trip to Mexico. So does this make everyone very excited about having a baby, that he has a one-way trip to Mexico booked with no return flight? The Sometimes Solo Parent. This is a new blog. This is a blog. This is a website that I found. The sometimessoloparent.com. I mean, could this be more fitting? Holding it all together while your partner's away. I'm not kidding. I printed out an article. This is an actual website. I have got to contact this poor, sweet woman. 6 communication tips for when your partner travels a lot. She sounds amazing. And God, she works her ass off, doesn't she? All right. So these are some tips. Let's see. When I asked your mom last week before she left what I can do to help communicate better, she goes, you just tell him explicitly how it is. You just lay it out. I want you to call me when. Lay out expectations beforehand. This is exactly what the Sometimes Solo Parent is saying. It's easy to assume you're on the same page, but it's best to make a plan for communication.
Absolutely.
So what is our communication plan?
So we're going to do this.
What?
We're gonna communicate.
You're going to let me know.
I'm going to let you know.
No, we're putting this out there for the tens of thousands of people that listen to this.
We have had issues about this.
We have had issues to a point that I am literally going to single mom and lock you out of the house when you return. Like, that's what's going to happen. That's the level of issue that we have right now. If people want to know that
Stop it.
That your few items of clothing are going to be already at the shelter. They're done. And the garage will not work. Yeah. Remi, dad who? No. You are just going to let me know that you're alive when you're in Mexico. That's how real it is. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
You're going to let me know if you're alive. And if you're dead, then we don't have anything to worry about.
Yeah.
But if you're alive, you're going to let me know that you're alive. Okay?
I will, for sure. 100%.
Because if you're alive and you haven't let me know, I will kill you upon your return.
If I go missing on Friday, you know what happened.
Talk about more than the kids when you do talk. That's fine. I mean, lately we've enjoyed talking about Remi, but I just won't even fill you in about his physical therapy appointment that you're now going to miss because that's on Thursday.
I'm going to sweat and blood all this work, like all my effort for working.
This would work really well if I also didn't work my ass off too.
I know that. And I appreciate it.
Yeah.
However, I'm going for work.
So no drinking. Your feet won't touch sand. Your feet better not touch sand. If you're going for work, I better not see any photos of your feet. feet in the sand. I don't want to see any bare
I'll wear
toes
shoes.
in the sand.
Wear shoes throughout.
Right? There no feet in the sand because
Hey.
that's vacation status.
Babe,
It's such mixed
I have
feelings,
to
y'all.
tell my clients the full experience. If you're gonna buy a $2 million home in the Riviera Maya, I have to be able to relay. So during the day you can play golf, you can play tennis. During the day you can do all these.
You playing golf. That's funny. That's a funny story. Don't hesitate to send an SOS when you need to.
Oh, you don't.
I'm going to be 911 in your ass, left and right. Yeah. No, that's not what I do at all, by the way. I just then don't talk to him. You know what I mean? Like if he doesn't call me one night, then all of a sudden the next morning he's like calling, babe, where are you? Where are you, babe? I was like, I don't know. I'm busy in Dallas doing fucking nothing but taking care of our baby son, not leaving the house. Remember the challenges of the other side. I don't like that tip. No, I don't like that tip. I don't like that tip. I don't know. Remember the challenges of the other side. I don't like that tip. That one's not good. That is not applicable. Say what you need to say. End on a good note. That's something. Even if you're mad, you're supposed to end the conversation on a good note, right? Fiery discussions are going to happen.
Fuck you, but I love you.
Let's table this until our next conversation. Make sure you end your conversation letting each other know that you're partners and that you are loved.
Yeah. Just think about that.
I am thinking about it. I'm thinking about how mad I'm about to be. I'm thinking about already how you're going to land and not call me. And that gives me a lot of anxiety that breath work is not going to solve. I get really stressed
Babe.
when you leave. I think the audience understands too, because I'm telling you, one of the last times that he did one of these trips, his phone kept dying. No excuse for an almost 40-year-old man's phone to continue to die. And he was out with a client, and I understand that. And you plugged it in at a restaurant, and you called me and texted me a couple of times. I mean, there'd be like an hour in between if I texted him, right? And that's okay because I knew that he was working and busy. It's not that I think he's out cheating. It's not that, because that's what he'll say. He's like, babe, I'm not doing anything bad. I'm like, well, I certainly fucking hope not. I don't think you're doing anything bad. I just want to know that you're okay. It's not that I'm jumping like crazy status to be like, who is she? I'm just like, I want to know that you're all right. And so I last heard from you one night at 8 o'clock at night. And by 3 a.m., I had fallen asleep. I woke up. I still had no text on my phone from him. I was fucking freaked. And his phone was going straight to voicemail. I was so upset. I WhatsApped his mom, knowing that she's not going to answer because it's 3 a.m. and I didn't want to do that. But you were supposed to be staying at your parents' house. And I'm like, did Fran come home tonight? I'm so worried about him. And of course, the next morning, I get a message from your mom like, oh yeah, he's back sleeping in the bedroom. So like his phone had died in Mexico City. He went home to his parents' house. I guess plugged it in, didn't have service, whatever it was. But also didn't just text me or call me to let me know that he made it home okay. And I was so mad I didn't talk to him for 2 days until he got back home. Yeah. I was so mad at you. I was pregnant.
I know.
So don't do that again this time.
No, for sure not. And you punish me and not talking to me for 2 days.
Well, because you make me really upset sometimes. And that's it. I mean, that would solve all of our problems.
Yeah.
Make it a ritual. Make it a ritual to check in with me when you're out of town. You like that segue?
Yeah,
no, I am segueing. I think that was like a really professional podcast segue. He was scared of me. Make it a ritual.
I will make it a ritual.
Just like the ritual of you taking ritual vitamins every day. I thought it was a good segue, but you got freaked out.
I don't know where you were going with this. I was like, is that an ad? Are we like going into this?
No, I'm actually really excited because Ritual has a new product. I got something in the mail the other day and I opened it up and I'm like, this doesn't look like my monthly vitamins that Fran and I take from Ritual. And it's not. It's called Synbiotic Plus. And this is a new product that they're offering. Really amazing. It's actually a 3-in-1 probiotic. You're like, what's probiotic? Well, obviously that tends to help with you're really into probiotics, aren't you?
I love probiotics. Yeah.
Helps with your gut health and your digestive system.
I'm all about a good gut.
So up until now, I actually took Ritual prenatal vitamins and they were my favorite. I really did. I hope y'all know I try different things all the time. And I tried, Ritual was just the best because their vitamins taste so great. Whatever they do to coat them, which they're using all organic stuff, right?
Like
nothing GMO.
Limey, something really
Mine
good.
was, Yeah, they're all different, but the prenatal was just delicious. But the Symbiotic is a new product for them, and they say it's actually more than just a probiotic. That's why it's called Symbiotic Plus. 3-in-1. There's prebiotic, probiotic, which I think most of us are familiar with that term, and postbiotic, which I've never heard of before, but that supports a balanced gut microbiome. So this one is single nested and it's a minty capsule. So this one's going to taste great as well. Just take one daily for streamlined gut support, and you don't have to refrigerate it. And I think that's a real perk, because if it's not able to sit next to my bed or be thrown into my purse when I travel, I'm very likely not going to take it. And if you've taken probiotics before, you know that most of the other ones on the market have to stay in the refrigerator, and this one does not. It has a moisture-controlled bottle technology to protect your probiotic strains. Symbiotic Plus and Ritual are here to celebrate, not hide your insides. No more shame in your gut game.
No much shame.
That's why Ritual's offering our listeners 10% off during your first 3 months. Visit ritual.com/Fitish to start Ritual or add Symbiotic Plus to your subscription today. That's the other thing. You take that in addition to your multivitamin.
I'm taking that to Mexico.
Really love Ritual. Yeah. I'm throwing stuff, kicking stuff. If you're just listening, sorry, I just kicked really hard my computer by accident.
Was it
just all frazzled? Yeah. What else are you taking to Mexico other than me and your son?
So,
other than not taking us, I mean, what all are you taking?
He's coming with me in my heart.
He can't come with you until we get his passport, but I think we got that situated.
You're always in my thoughts.
Yeah. Well, I better be. I'm not going to drone on about that today, so we'll deal with that later. I have a couple of. We always like to round out the show with some questions from the podcast, and I have a couple things. The comments have been great, by the way, y'all. We've had some really good stuff from you, but. Grace says, I love, Jenna, how you were so vulnerable and told Fran exactly how you were feeling and not getting enough attention. His response literally gave me goosebumps. Quote, we will change that for sure. He listens to you, Jenna. The way he responds to you is so adorable. Love you all as a couple, the perfect fit. Now, with one of our fights recently, Grace, I'm glad that you acknowledge this. However, it's come to my attention that I feel that Fran...
Remember that we need to end up in a...
Fran plays a really good partner on the podcast. He does not listen to me when we're actually fighting in real life, right? He'll come on and it made me mad. So because I said precisely this the other day, I was like, you act so great on the podcast. Like, we're going to change that. I'm going to listen to you and you're so amazing. He saves all his compliments for the podcast because you know what I'm talking about. When we're at home and we're fighting.
I listen.
You know what I would like to hear more about? What reservations or annoying habits you all might have had about each other when you first started dating. You know, those little thoughts that may have crossed your mind in the beginning of the relationship when you were not 100% sure about one another. I've shared the story with y'all about how when we were smoking pot in that hotel in Mexico on our first date trip, and the security came over and they asked for his name, and he said Jose Quintanilla, and my stomach dropped because I went, I don't know this man, and I abandoned him and went to the bathroom, then went up to the room because I was certain that he was going to get arrested and I was going to be in Mexico City. So
I would not abandon you.
I think I had a lot of reservations. At first, the thing that attracted to me him the most was also something that gave me a lot of reservation because he was much more mysterious, right? Like, here's this guy from Mexico. I don't really know anything about him. He was very hard to understand for me at first, but I liked it. You know, it was like the thing that I think was most alluring and drew me to you, where you were so different. But then I'm also like on a trip with you in Mexico City being like, I'm going to wake up without my organs in the bathtub. But it turned out great.
Yeah.
What about me?
Well, first, I don't know why you're hating on me so much today.
What do you mean? I complimented your eyebrows.
Oh, yeah, because you made them.
Why am I hating on you?
I don't know. You're already setting us up for an argument for me leaving to Mexico.
Because you walked in here
and then
before
you're telling
we
me that I don't listen to you
because we walked in. Time. I'm sorry, because it stresses me out. You walked in here, and at least we have a viable witness live in person producing the show right now. Because he looked at me and laughed. Because when you walked in here before we started recording today, you were just like, you know, so you said something about the change in your travel plans just moments before you're about to go get on a flight to Mexico. So it really stresses me out because that is really the the issue that we have in our relationship
For
is when you
sure,
travel, you don't communicate with me. So I can't help but starting to get like anxiety.
But I did that only because we needed you to get worked out so you can come back down.
Oh,
with
so
the
that was just a
breathing.
trick. It was just a joke.
It was just a breathing trick.
Did you have any reservations about me in the beginning?
Well, I had a couple, but they're still there, so I don't want to talk about them.
You're still not sold yet?
Still like,
We just made a baby son and you're still not sure yet?
There's still a couple things that don't make sense. But no, I think just the usual. But I liked you a lot from the get-go. Like, I was a sucker.
You were a
Like,
sucker?
Yeah. Like, I didn't even bargain.
I think you were pretty into it from the jump.
Yeah, I was pretty into it.
You seemed like it. Okay, I have another one.
Just don't kick the computer.
Alex wrote and said, you mentioned last podcast you wish you knew that the shitty feelings in the first 2 weeks postpartum were temporary. I'm currently in the thick of those 2 weeks and feel absolutely awful. I'm worried it's postpartum depression and that terrifies me. Can you go more into your feelings during those 2 weeks and what helped you get through them, as well as how you're feeling now? And that's from Alex. And I've gotten a lot of messages like this, actually. So I hope you all know I do read, but I like to save some of these because a lot of you are asking me about the same thing. And I'm also really inspired by the fact that so many of you have had kids recently. And so it makes me feel like when we talk about having a kid, you're finding it really interesting, which is super cool. But Alex, I'm really sorry. I do not think there's no way to prepare someone for what those first few weeks is like. And now I understand, because it does quickly get better for the most part. Now here we are at 9 weeks postpartum, and I feel like a completely different person. I mean, I don't feel like myself again by any means, but I finally feel so much more like myself again. And I'll say, I said to everyone, why did no woman in my life, and I have female friends that have had children, like, why did no one tell me that those first couple weeks, I mean, it felt like a near death experience in a way. And I know, I hope that's not insensitive. I know women that struggle with infertility like we did. It's really tough, and you should be grateful in all of these things. And it's not that I'm not so grateful that we have this baby, but those first couple of weeks are overwhelming, and you don't regret having a child, but you feel like you've completely lost your identity. And Alex, I'm sure that's what it is. Now, I can't diagnose you and say you don't have postpartum depression. If you are feeling symptoms like you don't want to get out of bed, you don't want to hold your child, right? That you feel no pleasure in even being around what you've created, I know that that's a really big sign that you're dealing with postpartum depression, because Fran used to see me crying, as I'm sure you are, right? I'd be in the bedroom. It'd be 4:00 in the afternoon. I had had an okay day before, gone on a walk. I'd be in the bedroom just hysterically crying, and Fran would come in and go, what's wrong? Are you dealing with postpartum depression? That was his approach. And I was like, no, I don't think so. But I will say that I do think that I would have gone into some serious postpartum depression had I not tried to get back to doing things that I had done before. And I think I said this on a podcast before. I kind of put my finger on it at some point and said, the reason you feel as a woman, because guys will never totally understand how we're feeling. They'll just kind of look at you and be like, is she okay? Because a lot of women will write me and be like, they just let their husbands have it. Like, have you ever washed a baby bottle before? Do you even know where the sink is? The one woman wrote me and said she lashed out at her husband's, like, because we do feel like we do so much. You feel like your day is all you're doing is something that you've never done before. You don't feel good at it, right? Your whole identity has been stripped away. You're supposed to all of a sudden be a mom. Even though we want to be a mom, you have to learn how to mom, and it's hard and you doubt yourself. I spend my entire day still, other than the days that I get to be up here for a few hours, cleaning bottles, washing dishes. I get very mad, even more mad than I used to. Like, can you not just put a couple dishes away? Because you feel like you're the only one doing a lot of these things. So I think if you're feeling just highly emotional and uncomfortable, that's really normal. If you feel like you have no idea what you're doing and you're exhausted and you feel a little bit of regret at having a child, I think that those feelings are really normal. Obviously, if you are feeling really despondent, right? Like, that's what they say. You don't want to get out of bed. You don't want to hold or feed your child or interact with your child. That's definitely signs of postpartum depression. But I think that feeling shitty in general is unfortunately very normal, and that can actually last for the first couple of months. So I think for me, I started feeling better truly when I came into the office. I started getting back on Zoom calls and working it after about 4 or 5 weeks, and only a little bit at a time, right? Like an hour or two a day, having someone help me with Remi so I could respond to emails and get on social media and like do some work related stuff. It really started to make me feel a lot better. I went on my first run last week.
Yeah, very proud.
I actually like ran for a couple of miles and I about died. I felt awful when I was done, but I also felt amazing because it was something that Jenna hasn't done. Jenna, the old Jenna hasn't done in a long time, and it made me feel more like myself.
How's she doing?
She's in there somewhere. She's still in
You're
there
listening.
somewhere. Yeah.
Come out.
She's in here. I'm feeling a lot better though. I'm more comfortable with Remi. I'm more comfortable when he cries. I think that's the other thing, right? Like when your child cries, you're like, oh my God, they cry. It sounds like they're dying, and it gives you a lot of anxiety. You start to get a little more comfortable with that, if that makes sense.
It brings me back. You remember when we went to Seattle to see your friend, and I was sitting in the back of the SUV,
And he was
like, and I was so
worried about him.
like worried about him, and she seemed so calm. He was
Becca's very chill though.
He was
3 months.
3 months, but that's around the time that you start understanding that that's their way of communicating.
Yeah.
So you cannot panic. Of course, it's not that you're not going to do nothing about it, but not every cry is to panic about.
It's kind of, I've heard a lot of people say, like what you're saying, you're meeting a stranger for the first time. And I know it's your child, and I just find it to be bullshit. And it's amazing the women that go like, I was in love with you before I even met you. And I understand we have these warm feelings because you created this life and it's amazing. But it did not become amazing for me until more recently. Now he's smiling at us and it is just the coolest feeling you've ever experienced, right? And but it's a stranger in your house. You're a stranger to them. They're a stranger to you. You have no idea. This tiny creature doesn't even feel human. You're learning how to change these diapers and do all these things that just frankly, like you're not very good at, do I even burp them correctly and change their diaper and, give them a bath and all these things you're trying to learn how to do. It's really overwhelming. I just would like to tell you what people told me, Jenna. It will get so much better by about the 3-month mark. And I have to say, like, it's been better since before that. So if it's any consolation, you can get there. And I know it feels like an eternity if you're only 2 weeks into it, because that's how it felt to me when people would tell me by 3 months, it's so much better. And you're like, yeah, but that's like 10 weeks from now. The days are long, but time goes by and you're going to get through it. So try and take a few minutes each day and do something that the old Alex would do, right? That the old version of you would do if you're able to, and I promise that'll hopefully make you feel a lot better. But hey, it's a wild ride.
Yeah. And I think
I'll let you know how it goes this week.
Gosh.
What are you going to miss the most on your trip?
Everything. Like there's waking up and see, like, my favorite part of the day is when you take the swaddle of that baby.
He's so happy.
He's just
they take their little arms out and they recognize you and they smile and it just melts you.
You really think that it's so enjoyable because I'm gonna go to this paradise, and what it's
you called it paradise, so
yeah, but it is a paradise, and it's a beautiful place. But I'm leaving the two people I love the most, and
it's such mixed feelings for me, Fran. I was telling my mom, like, what you're saying. I'm jealous. It's a weird thing, and I'm sure women that have children in these first few months feel this way. Like, I feel resentment sometimes when you're like out to dinner with a client or out to lunch, or now that you're going out of town. However, I don't want to go with you. I don't want to leave him at all. And you're like, oh, go to lunch with your girlfriends. I'm like, no, you don't understand. I'm grieving my old life still in a way, but I don't want to do it because I'm pulled in this direction right now. And I'm sure there'll come a time when you and I are ready to take a couples trip without the baby. But even right now, like, I want to spend all my time I'm not working. For the most part, I went and got my hair done the other day. Like, I can leave for a few hour increments, but that's about the max amount of time I want to spend away, and I don't really want to travel with him right now either. So it's this weird feeling of like, I'm jealous that you get to go out of town, but I don't want to do that, if that makes sense.
So I wish you could understand how it feels, especially when he changes so much.
I know. He's going to be walking by the time you get back at this rate. I may send you a video. I'm not sure. I don't know. I haven't decided.
Don't worry, I have a camera in every fucking square inch of that house.
Did you invite me to all the cameras, by the way?
Only a couple.
Yeah. Yeah, we put cameras everywhere, which is great. I was like, we don't really need one in our bedroom, but there's not a whole lot of action happening anyway. So that's for another podcast. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's for the late night R-rated
We're gonna
podcast.
start OnlyFans with that camera.
We have a lot of exciting things coming up, though, so stay tuned. Make sure you're signed up for the Fitish newsletter from our website because Fran and I, Cooking with Jenna and Fran, was such a hit. It was more cooking with Fran while Jenna talked and answered questions, but we're going to do that again for Cinco de Mayo. So if you have any ideas or things you'd like Fran to make, we have a couple things in mind. Let us know. Shoot your questions over to info@fitish.com. Follow along Fran's work trip at his Instagram.
I will be posting very professional content.
No toes in the sand.
No toes in the sand.
He's so going to post his feet in the sand and I'm going to be pissed. Yep.
So
follow along and we'll catch up with you next week if you decide to come back in town by then.
I'll be back next week. If I'm alive, I'll be here next week. If she killed me,
yeah.
I just want you all to know I loved you and I appreciate your support.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.